I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me, my friend.
Anytime, man. Robert, one of the first, I think the first interview we ever got with Alive and Stone was with you. And, it was, I'll never forget, what it felt like to start this thing up and, seeing where it was and where it is now, it, you were the first guy to work with us. So, I mean, it's a pleasure, man. Anytime you want me to come out, man, I'm coming out, man. It's all good. I
Well,
love it.
I want to tell you, you got me excited. California IA, man, a killer track and a killer start to the year.
Thanks.
I wanted to ask you what lies ahead, man. Will we get this full length album that we've been dying for?
So there's a good chance that you're gonna get. So here's what you're gonna get. So it's gonna be three more It's gonna be, you'll probably get 7 more singles, and then towards the end we're gonna group them up as an album, and we're just gonna go ahead and put them out. Same thing we did before, but this will probably be the first full length. So we'll try to get a full. I know Heidi's been hounding me forever about wanting to get that album out. So I'm gonna try to get it out. Get a physical copy, just even if it's just a few, and send it out to you guys. And if you guys want us to autograph it, we'll autograph it, or whatever you want, man. We'll do it. So we'll try to get that out to you. But it's gonna be a pretty long rollout. When you're a small band, a lot of times with Spotify and the way things work, you got to pump them out single by single. It's just a better way to do it. When you get a much bigger fan base, you can kind of roll out that album. So it's not that we're just deliberately not wanting to put out albums. It's just that we got to play by a different set of rules, So
Sure.
as unrock and roll as that is, right? So.
Well, and that's the problem a lot of artists face now. It's keeping the name in the forefront, and you keep feeding one way or another, whether it be singles or releasing 2 EPs a year or just blasting social media constantly. These are all things that bands have to tend with now because you're your own boss now.
Yeah, exactly. Which means you have to have your shit together all the way. You got to have the look, you got to have the artist development kicking, you got to have the music, you got to have the fucking social media, you got to have everything these days. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, they're not coming to save you. So you got to fight it out, and you got to learn as much as you can. And we got good mentors, and we got good people that we work with that kind of steer us in the right direction. So yeah, that's kind of, the gist of it,
California, how did that track come to you originally?
So a lot of times as a writer, I think I try to write from the raw emotion. And just like, I'm not a person who's ever been someone who likes to write about trendy things or what's in, the whole heartbreak and breakup thing, and writing about chicks and everything kind of has its place. But for me, I kind of am always attracted to writing about things that just interest me, whether it be, a short story or like a movie or just anything that I find interesting, no matter what it is. And I think I just was craving something that was hedonistic and intense, and kind of, I guess, dove deep into the ego, about, the fantasy of what it's like to be famous and be in the Hollywood spotlight, and writing from a position of somebody who's completely indulging in that lifestyle, and trying to write from as raw of a place as possible. And it kind of brought me to a place where it was like this dark Los Angeles, dark Hollywood glamour lifestyle song that was just wanted to be over the top, just in your face, just I wanted people to feel the hedonism and feel the excess and feel the darkness in it, and just that kind of battle of the glamour and glitz versus the sludge of the way that people have just had their lives destroyed by that lifestyle. Not saying anything about it. I love California. I don't have a problem with it, but that whole just raw emotion of wanting to capture that in art form is just something that I really just wanted, and just, you know, wanted to just make a song that just didn't give a fuck and just was just raw, you know, and that's kind of what I want to do.
And that's what I love about the track. It provides an edgier style to you, and I dig it. You guys have found a niche that is really in your zone, man. The song's
Yeah.
one of my favorite singles you've ever released.
You've always liked the over the top ones like Blood Moon Rising all the way back then. And of course things have changed a lot since then. And um, you know, I think another big thing is wanting to not just use metal is just like this genre where we just stay. You know, I've always wanted to kind of branch out into new wave and EDM and Euro pop and really just form a lexicon of just, hey, I think this is cool, I want to do it. And California, you know, after Walking in the Moonlight, California just was one of those songs that was just kind of in that weird place that Moonlight is, where it's just like, hey man, I just want to like write what I think feels good and just push the boundaries if I can. Just try to really just incorporate more things into what we do and form a lexicon, not just a you know, stuck genre. And I'm glad it strikes a chord with you. I'm glad there's like a niche involved. I'm glad there's a little bit of something different in it, man. It makes me happy. That's good stuff.
And as far as the clips in the track go, did you have to jump through any hoops to use them clips?
So as far as I know, we didn't have. As far as I know, like using using like a clip from a movie or something like that is what's known as transformative use, as far as I know. So as long as you're not like, let's say that Charlie Sheen was going to do that interview in a couple weeks, but we took that clip and we put it in one of our songs, and now the audience was taken away from that interview to watch what we're doing. That would be a problem. But like if you're using something that's not the same medium, like we're using music, and we're taking something that's from like a recording of like a video or something, not the same thing, and putting it in your music, that, as far as I understand, that kind of sampling, I don't think is an issue. um but if you were to take someone else's clip from their music and then put it in your music, that's different. That's copyright infringement. That's different. So as far as I know, there's really no hoops that we had to jump through. That's known as transformative use. You're allowed to do that, as far as I know. As long as the medium of expression is different from a legal perspective, that's what I understand it to be. A lot of artists do it. It's done in EDM all the time. It's done in a lot of music all the time. So, I mean, Rob Zombie was doing it. Nine Inch Nails was doing it. So a lot of those movie motif things, I think, are a great way to kind of express yourself as an artist in a different way. In a
Oh,
lot of ways.
and I wanted to ask you,
Mm.
when this all started for you, what were some of your main influences that formed you musically?
Um, I would say that I was a lot like, I would say the first band that really made me pay attention to heavy music was probably Orgy. The song Blue Monday, like that cover, I didn't know it was a cover at the time. I just saw this like really androgynous, grimy kind of like electronic type of new metal sound, and I had never heard anything like, I never heard music like that, and really gravitated toward it. And right about that time, bands like, you know, like a lot of kids, Hybrid Theory came out, and I heard Chester Bennington for the first time, and that eventually got me into other bands like Edema, and eventually, Breaking Benjamin would come around, stuff like that. So I would say Linkin Park, Tool, Orgy, Edema, a lot of those bands, a lot of those just really heritage alternative rock bands like Korn, like a lot of the new metal spectrum, even bands that people don't really know about called like Scrape and like Stereo Mud and stuff like that were like a lot of my really deep influences. But I went through a lot of phases in my life. Like I went through a phase where I was listening to a lot of Tears for Fears and New Wave and going to appreciate that. And then I was listening to a lot of metalcore and like hearing As I Lay Dying and Avenged Sevenfold and, you know, um, Bleeding Through and bands like that. And then would go through another phase in my life where I was listening to industrial. And I just, I would say those were the main influences. But the important thing as an artist, and I think this is something that all the people that are, you know, and I'm not trying to make it an ageism thing, but like as you go through your life, no matter what age you are, always try to listen to as much different music as you can and really try to find resonance in everything, because that ultimately is going to help you perspire as a musician and find something unique. I think that if you kind of just listen to the same thing over and over again and you don't really want to expand your horizons, there's a chance that your writing is going to suffer. It's not going to evolve. So the thing is I just always try to listen to new bands, new shit, and try to just learn as much as I can about what they're doing and try to see if there's anything I enjoy in it and how I can use it in our music. And that's kind of the big thing with me music. So yeah, I'm getting influenced every day by new shit. So yeah, if that makes sense.
And we talked about videos, new singles coming out and things like that. I wanted to ask you, is there a point where you're going to look to tour?
Absolutely. I would say within the next year, I would love to try to get on with like one of the other bands in our genre that's local and try to do like maybe a pipeline or regional kind of thing just to get some miles under our belt. um, Touring, I think, is a byproduct of building a fan base. So if you can just get your numbers up on social media and get your numbers up on the streaming and things like that, a lot of times you can really bring in enough demand to try to get you to tour. And so that's kind of the thing that we're doing is we're trying to just increase the overall exposure. And I think a tour will kind of fall out whenever it's ready. But yeah, man, like some baby tours, some stuff like a couple weekend tours, anything we can get to get our some miles under our belt is something that we want to do within the next year or within this year if we can.
And
So definitely.
and speaking on that, I wanted to ask you, we discussed that there isn't any physical forms available of your music, but I wanted to ask you, is there a merchandise that can be purchased from Alive in Stone?
Absolutely. You can go over to www.aliveandstonemusic.com/store and you can find um, several different merch items there you can find for purchase. You can, and also just so you know, like when you buy online, like we like the margin is weird. Like we don't really get any money from it, which is fine. It's not something that we care about right now. If you ever want to buy it direct through us, give me a DM. We can set something up, you know, with Cash App or whatever, Venmo, and we can send it to you. And then also, even though the best way to do it's probably the website, just so nothing gets fouled up. And also, like if you're on that website, you can download any one of our songs for free. If you don't have a streaming service or something like that, you can always download for free, and it'll be in exchange for your email address. And you just do that, and you'll basically you'll be able to get whatever you want for free. Any one of our songs that's currently out.
And I wanted to ask you, if, do you have tracks that you're currently working on that you can give me an idea of what the vein of music is going to be?
Sure. So there's 3 more tracks that you're gonna get that are already done. They're en route. Um, I would say that the next after those 3, the next probably I would say from here on out, I would say that the next type of music is going to have like an alternative rock base for sure. but you're really, really going to get a lot more of the dance music vibe, the hard EDM and industrial vibe. You're going to get a lot more of a house influence for sure. Electronic music is something that I'm really bringing to the forefront, but not in the same way that, oh, we just want to add elements of it. Like, I really want to dig from the perspective of like new wave house music, a lot of the ways that synthesizers can dominate the mix, but also stepping more into harder styles of EDM too, like hard style and things like that, if that's even the right genre. But like I would say expect us digging from a lot more of a more holistic perspective. Um, so I really would say you're just gonna see a lot more broadness in terms of different genre in the music, and really just delivered in a way that's just like super unapologetic and like just like just this is what we want to do, so we're just gonna do it, and just I would say it's just more of a thing of like I'm just gonna give you whatever I like, and I'm gonna find a way to put it into a song and give it to you. So there's really no way to really pinpoint it, but I would say that much.
Well, I definitely look forward to anything that comes from you. Everything you've delivered so far has always been top notch. And
Yeah,
I always look forward to speaking with you, my friend. There's always so much to talk about. And there's nothing but great things that lie ahead for you because your talent is limitless.
I appreciate it, man. That's awesome, man. Very cool.
I want to thank you for taking time to speak with me, my friend. As always, it's an absolute pleasure speaking with you, my friend.
Anytime. We're always ready to do it again, Robert. I'm gonna try to get you a physical copy whenever I can. And the only reason we haven't done it is just because it's been one of those things where it's just like you're when you're small, there's so much that goes into the digital side. And that's kind of how we keep things going. So we're really trying to do that. I know Heidi wants a physical copy. I know she's the best, man. We love her to death, but our good friend from Canada and many others. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure, man. We love this, and we're always ready to do it with you anytime. So
Well, thank you, my friend. And you have a great rest of your day.
you too, Robert. Always a pleasure.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, bro. Rock on.